This is Princess's brand new X80, and it is absolutely phenomenal. You'd never normally refer to an 80-foot boat as a super yacht. This I think you would, and I'm going to take you on board and show you exactly why. Now this is the second of their Superfly models. The first was the X95, and we have one right here, and in fact we've got a full tour of that boat already on the channel and a sea trial. This is number two. The X95 proved hugely popular, so they've scaled the concept down slightly and brought this out. Now the whole idea of this is space and volume. They've realized that a lot of clients simply want as much room on the boat as they can get within the size that they've chosen. And this does it. It does it, and how. It's incredible. So we're going to take you on board and we're going to do the full aquaholic tour. We're going to every area. We're going into all the cabins, we're going into the deck areas, we're going into the crew cabin, we're going to go into the engine space, the lot. Let's go. You're going to like this. I know I did. So what I'm going to do is take you straight inside first of all. There's a lot of stuff to show you on the deck and out here, and we'll work our way out to it. I'll show you the inside first of all, and that I think, well, I was going to say is the most spectacular bit. It's all spectacular, and it starts right here. So this is your saloon area. You've got these big wide opening doors, as you can see. Interestingly, this one's got the high gloss walnut. You don't see the high gloss quite so much anymore, but it does look good. There's various options for this. Now the table, for example, this is a folding table. It will drop down, it'll slide in and out on these tracks, it'll extend out for dining. You can have just a fixed big dining table if you prefer. So there's various options there. It's a very wide area. You've got more seating on this side. There's a TV that pops out of here. In fact, would you believe there are 9 televisions on this boat? I'll see if I can point them all out to you. And we're going to head on through and show you what it's all about. Now, the big news with these, they're called Superfly, these boats, the X95 and this X80. The big news is the fact that there is no helm position on this main deck, as there almost always is. And that's freeing up acres of space. Obviously, I'll show you where the helm position is as we go through the tour, but it ain't here. The galley is here, and you'll notice there's like grooves here. That's because that is a bulkhead that will rise up so that you can completely enclose the galley if you want. The door slides across here, or you can have it kind of open plan as we've got at the moment. And if we go on into here, then you can see it's actually a pretty good size. So work our way right round. So over here, there's all refrigeration. So it's fridge in here, and then these are all freezer units down underneath, like so. This I like, a little alcove. You can put like a toaster or your coffee maker or whatever else on there. There's of course loads of storage tucked away all over the place. These are just little ones here. Interestingly, there's a door on here as well, so you can access straight out onto the side decks from here. And then back on this side, you've got all electric cooking, as you'd imagine. So the 4-burner hob, you've got the cooker underneath. This is all storage up above, storage all along around here. Apart from this one, which is a dishwasher. Decent sized sinks. This again, drawers and storage and all that kind of thing. That one there is another fridge, would you believe? No, it isn't. That's an ice maker. That's close, wasn't I? And the other thing you've got, just talking of refrigeration, as we come across onto this side, there is in fact a wine cooler in here as well. That's tucked away in there. And then again, little bits of storage everywhere. In fact, if we go over here as well, you can see that all pulls out, and that, when you've got these little fellas here, that's for all your cutlery. So all your knives and forks and spoons, they all slot into there. It keeps them all nicely organised and safe and not rattling around when you're at sea. So that is that area. I mentioned this as a mini super yacht. And a couple of things that are generally only found on super yachts are a main deck day heads, and that's over here. You see it's got this huge window, but there's of course a blind that comes down across this. And you've got your sink in there and so on. So that, you're not going downstairs to use the toilet, that's straight off of here. But check this out, this is the big news. This is a main deck owner's cabin. I can't think of another 80-foot boat that's got this. Normally you're 100 foot plus to get this. It's remarkable. It's a nice size. You've got access straight out from here onto the decks. So that's a nice feature. Nice little dressing table. One of the many televisions is in here as well. In fact, that TV's even got surround sound. Look how it's got speakers here, here, and here, and here. So it's all full surround sound. Big windows in here, lovely view out of the front. And then on this side, they've actually incorporated the heads as kind of part of the room in a way. So you've got the sinks here, and then the actual toilet and shower are separate, tucked in behind these frosted screens. However, if you don't want that like that, you don't have to have it, because there are pocket doors, and they pull across, one each side. There we go. And you can completely enclose that area if you prefer. And if we have a quick look in here then, this has got the toilet at this end and behind here. Little areas of storage everywhere on here. You can see tucked away in there, tucked away down underneath here, up in behind here, and so on. Again, huge windows everywhere. And as you can imagine, there's blinds that drop down over these. And then this one is the shower. It's a very nice shower cubicle. You've got the rainfall shower up there, as well as the standard wand shower. And that closes off thusly. Now, there are a couple more things to mention about this cabin. The first is it has its own private access out of the side. But the other is that you can have this replaced with a dining room. So you can have the aft area completely for lounging and have this as a separate dining room. If you do that, they put a doorway here because that's the galley on the other side. Obviously this heads isn't here. And that means that you've just got direct access from the galley straight into here and a proper separate dining area. Again, a real super yacht feature you just don't find on an 80-foot boat. But that's beautiful, isn't it? Main deck owner's cabin on an 80-foot boat. Remarkable. Let's head on, loads more to see on this. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take a turn around this way. There's a stairway here. There's two stairways from this area. You can see there's another one up here, and of course we will come to that in a moment. This is taking us down to the lower deck. What is quite nice, look at the way they've done this woodwork, the way it's all formed like this. It's stunning. These are a massive storage area. That's brilliant. People come on with flight cases and that kind of thing with all their stuff in. You can put their stuff in the wardrobes and you've got somewhere to put the cases away. Now, as we spin on round, the first thing that greets us is this wonderful lobby area down here. Really nice. There's no area on this boat that feels cramped. So despite the fact they've got so much cabin into it, it all still feels open and lovely all the way through. And this again, it does feel properly super yacht, doesn't it? This passageway right down through the centre of the boat. We'll head forward first of all. Look how they finished all this on here. Stunning. This, would you believe, is cabin 3. This is the third smallest cabin in the boat. And yet, a few years ago, that on an 80-footer would have been the owner's cabin. It just shows what they've managed to create. It is beautifully finished. The lighting, the woodwork, everything else is stunning. And then you've got TV in here naturally. This is all storage, so big hanging locker in here, all illuminated. Storage here, storage here, storage under the bed. I won't open it all, we'll be here all day, but you get the idea. It's all the way around here, all the way around here. Lovely little dressing area as well. That's really nice. There's a hatch up in the ceiling there. That's an escape hatch. So there is a way out of this deck from the front if it's ever needed in an emergency situation. I mean, obviously, you almost certainly never would, but it's nice to know it's there. The other thing we've got in here, of course, is an ensuite. All of these cabins have individual en-suites because the day heads is up on the main deck. So that's in here. Toilet's in through there. Again, really lovely size. And again, the rainfall shower there with the door that closes that off. So that's cabin 3. And we can head on back. This one's cabin 4. Again, magnificent size. Beautiful. And again, a ton of storage everywhere. You've got the blinds that drop down over the windows. Big wardrobe over on this side, dressing table in behind here. I'm going to keep on moving with this one rather than opening everything because it is such a big boat and there's so much to show you and it's all so lovely. Look at that. Stunning, isn't it? Rainfall shower again in there. It's proper no compromise, isn't it? I mean, wherever you are in this boat, nothing feels like, well, yeah, they pinched a bit of space here. It all feels lovely. And then this one's cabin 5. Twin beds in this one. And actually, what this owner has specified is a Pullman berth. So we can spin this little clip around here and drop that one. This is brilliant for kids. You bring their friends along and you've got a bit of extra sleeping if it's needed. And then again, AV equipment, storage everywhere, big wardrobe just here, and its own ensuite. Beautiful. Absolutely amazing. Okay. Now, having shown you 3, 4 and 5, I'm going to show you number 2. Because if we step back down here, check this out. Look at that. That's amazing, isn't it? Now this, of course, if you have the dining area at the front of the main deck, this becomes the master cabin, and it is absolutely a master cabin size. It's vast. We've got the massive TV in here. Again, they've used every area. So this area underneath here, they've put drawers in there, for example. Got this lovely settee in here. And the woodwork, look at the way they've done this woodwork. Absolutely beautiful. If we head back here, we've got a massive ensuite. I mean, that's a really, really good size. You've got the separate shower, of course, down at the end. And then the toilet is down that end. And everywhere you get these big windows, this wonderful view. It's great if you're at anchor. But of course, there are blinds on all of them. So you've got privacy if you need it. So that is that. I will show you over on this side though, because I love this dressing area here. It's very Art Deco, the way it all wraps around, a little bit of stainless steel trim on it, that kind of stuff. I think that's gorgeous. And then back here, this has its own proper walk-in wardrobe. So you've got the hanging rails there, you've got the drawers down underneath. If you come round behind the door then, this area here again with the hanging rails. These cases, these flight cases are for all the instruction books. So every single item, from the safe to the engines, to the navigation equipment, to the televisions, it all comes with an instruction book, and that's where they live. Cool, huh? So that's the lower deck and the main deck, but we've now got an upper deck. I will show you this. This is quite neat. All this is like an upholstery here. It's like a soft furnishing, but they've then put a solid panel on here so that when people are sort of, you know, doing this with it, as people tend to do with doors, it can be cleaned. It's got grubby finger marks on there, they'll come off. Whereas on that, it's a little bit more difficult. I'll show you this as well because there's a washing machine in here. Now, there are laundry facilities in the crew area, but that's just so that if the owners want to wash their unmentionables, they can do that without giving them to the crew. Okay, we're going to head back on up and we'll take in that upper deck. So this time we're going to roll around this way. So we're past the day heads, past the galley. That's back towards the back of the boat, of course. And this is a stairway up. Now this is the standout feature of these X-class Princess boats. And that is the fact that they have what they call a superfly layout. And that means that you have a completely separate upper deck saloon. And it shouldn't be possible on an 80-foot boat for it to be a tri-decker, but nonetheless, here it is, and it works. And this, of course, is where you then find the helm position, and that's in its own wheelhouse. Again, a proper super yacht feature, and that's what opens up that lower deck, because now you've removed the need for a helm station from down there. gives you all that space, and that's how they get that forward cabin in, or forward dining room. But this is nice. It gives you another social area on the boat. Brilliant. If you've got kids, of course, they can come up here and watch a film. There's another TV that pops out of this unit here. And just gives you another living space on the boat. Now the wheelhouse is up here. This can be closed off. There are sliding doors. They come out of here. So you can unclip these up here. And then that allows these to slide. There we go, and they come out like that, one each side. Well, in fact, there's two each side because there's another sliding one next to it. Let's pop that back, like so. And with those across, that means you can completely black out this area and still use this area. So for night navigation, that still works. This is a really nice, well, I was going to say helm position, but it is a proper wheelhouse, isn't it? Look at that, stunning. And it feels really businesslike in here as well because they put the black headlining in. This is all blacked out around here. Superb. You've got screens all the way across here, so this is configured with radar, charts. There is a camera system that's looking into the engine room at the minute. There's also a bonning system on here. That's this one here, so we can hit the home button. This controls the whole ship. So for example, we can look at AC power just here. We can go back to home. We can look at DC power, go back to home. We can look at the waste system, for example. This is quite interesting because you can see you've got the waste tanks here and you've got the pumps and backup pumps. So everything's got backups so that if you have a problem, you can still operate. Instrumentation is on here for the engines, that's like that. And that one that we were on originally, lights, that allows you to have presets for anchor, for underway, all that kind of thing. And it means that you can configure the lights in a pre-programmed setup. You can even hit all off and turn every light off. If you're leaving the boat, you can imagine running around to every single cabin and making sure every single light is off. You don't need to, you just hit that. And across here we have, this one's got night vision, so it's got a FLIR camera. So that's the control for that. We've got VHF radio, trim tabs, engine controls. We'll look at the engine space, of course, and so forth all the way across there, all the switch gear and so on. It is very easy to forget you're on an 80-foot boat, isn't it? That's incredible. Big one-piece windscreen as well. And because you're so high up, you've got a great view out. You're well forward here as well. But what they've done, the whole concept of this Superfly, is to then extend this deck pretty much the full length of the boat, and that gives you acres more space. So if we come out of here, we can come up ahead of this area, and this has got big sunbeds too, one on each side. So they'll both cater for sort of 2 or 3 people each. What you can have as an option, which is quite clever, is you can have these so that they will slide in this way, and then this comes up at the back, and that makes a seat. So you can sit with 2 seats opposite each other and make that into a nice little social area. We'll walk right around here. There's some quite practical details around the place, like these. These are big deck lockers. So if you want to put stuff in there, you've got somewhere for it to go. And then if we come back here, I'll just show you up on top. That is that FLIR night vision camera up there at the front. That's what that joystick controls. And then up here, we've got the track vision for the TVs and satellite communications. The radar is up on the top. There's a searchlight up above that, antennas, all that kind of stuff. And this is Prince William Quay down in Plymouth. I've never been here before. It's a beautiful spot. Remarkable. Okay, let's head on a bit further. I'm curious what's in here. There we go, more deck lockers. There we go. So that is the forward end. And as I say, we're pretty much up towards the front of the boat. In fact, let's just take a quick walk up here and I'll show you. So there is the main deck down there, and I'll look at that with you in just a moment. But we're not far from the bow here, and if we go the other way, we can come back down the side, hook back into here. This is the DC batteries, and the AC system controls are all on there. Sky Lounge, and then they've extended it back this way, and you've got another massive social area. So again, it's that sort of feeling of no compromise. Just because you've got all that cabin space doesn't mean you have to lose deck space. They've put it everywhere. There's various options here. So this has just got a great big dining table on it, but if you wanted a smaller table that folds, so you can have it for dining or folded away for a coffee table, you can have that if you prefer. More configurations back here. This is interesting because this one will actually rotate. So it spins around this way, and it means that you can have it, instead of facing out the back of the boat, which is lovely of course, you can have it so that it goes from there to there, so rotating around 90 degrees basically, and that means it links up with this area and makes that in one big social area. You've also got this one on this side, and this one, I think I'm right in saying, will convert to a sunbed, so you can have sunbathing out here if you want it, as well as on the front. And we've got this big shade up above, and this powers away back into the overhang. There's a bar area up here, so this has got fridge inside there, and then that one lifts up with your barbecue, and there's a sink and bin underneath and a bit of storage and so on. And that one there is another television. So what are we up to now? We've got a television in the main saloon that powers up. We've got one in each cabin, so that is 5 more, so that's 7. And there's another one in here that rises up as well, that's 8. And there is a 9th. Okay, I'm going to show you the main deck outside areas now, so we can come back down this way. And the first thing we find then is this lovely cockpit area. That overhang, of course, because it extends so far back, we've got plenty of shade here, and it's nicely lit as well, as you can see. A lot of little concealed lighting in places like this. Table folds out, so if you want to dine here, you can do that. Drops out like so. And then here, this was an owner specification. This is not a normal standard thing, but they wanted to have a box where people could put shoes in, so they've made that into a little seat, and then you can open that, people can drop their shoes in there, and then they're into the cabin. So that's quite a nice touch, but owner spec. There's a little wet bar over here as well. So this has got, you can lift this one off, and there's a sink underneath there. Put that back carefully, and then underneath here is a massive fridge, and it's a tiny thing, but it just shows the attention to detail. You'll see that there's a slot in here. That's the perfect size to take that, because you lift these off to use it and think, what the hell am I going to do with this? So that's where it goes. We'll take a stroll around the decks. You've got power winches on the back here. Love the stainless steel work, things like these fairleads. Look at the way they've done this. That is a work of art, isn't it? That's beautiful. And if we head on then this way around the main deck on the outside, these are side doors. So if you're against a quay, you can step straight out onto the quay. These are an optional extra, so it just depends where you're using the boat as to whether those are relevant. They're very popular in America, those kinds of things. That one there is a docking station that allows you to control the engines and the bow and stern thrusters and even the anchors from here. It means that you can stand here on the aft deck and you can watch the boat in if you're reversing in against a quay. And if we head up here, these decks are really wide and they're deep too. Look how deep these are bulwarked here. So you feel very much like you're in the boat and not on it. And you've got these big overhangs here as well. So again, it's that super yacht vibe. This is that side door from the owner's cabin up on the main deck. So you can come out of here and forward, or backward of course, whatever you want to do, but you could keep this as a private little area for the owner if they wanted to. Now this one, again, it's all configurable. This one's been fitted with the hot tub here. However, the standard setup here is to have seating in like a big C-shaped around a table. So that could make this a little private area for the owners. And then underneath here, if we open that, that lifts up with just a little bit of storage for bits and pieces. But there's also big deck lockers. They don't forget about the practical features. They don't forget this is actually a boat first and foremost. So you've got places there for all of your gear. And if we come on right up to the bow, again, these deep bulwarks all the way around. And again, that sense of the super yacht with the twin anchors on the front and the anchor winches here. These are hydraulic, they're not electric. You can see the pipe work to them here. So they run from the ship's hydraulics systems. I've got to show you this. This is a massive deck locker, so you can get down into there. There's huge bins on either side, but also the anchor chain bins are in here as well. So that's all of that. And these little controls mounted on here, well, they're easy to get to. These are the remote controls to operate these winches. And that one there is an escape hatch from the forward cabin. So that's the way out of that cabin if it's ever needed. And let's come right up to the bow, take a look back. So you've got to bear in mind, this is not the windscreen for the boat because the helm station is up above the actual wheelhouse. That is to that forward owner's cabin. We'll head back down this way. Look at these beautiful cleats and the way they've taken the stainless steel all the way around so that the warps don't chafe against the GRP. You can see they actually overhang slightly so that the ropes go off like that, the warps, and they're not rubbing on the GRP. That's a nice touch. Let's come back here. This is the access back into the galley area. And we'll come right back. And I forgot to tell you where that other television was, didn't I? If we come right back here, it's in here. And you're going to say, where's that? And I'm going to tell you, it drops out of the ceiling, it hinges down like that. You would never know it was there. It's actually that panel there. Where are we? Just there. But anyway, we're not going to linger here. We are going to carry on further. These have got doors that come across, so you can close this off if you want to. Right at the aft end then, we've got a high-low bathing platform. So this is where your tender would sit. It goes on chocks that fit into these, and this whole thing then powers down into the water, so your tender floats off. You can use it for ship to shore, bring it back up, and it sits on the back. Again, lots of practical touches. So if we look over here, for example, oh, seagulls are getting noisy. That is a big storage area, so things like your canopies, as we've got in there at the moment, that's a good place for those to live. And also, if we look into this one, more canopies in here at the moment, but actually, this is pretty deep. If you look down through here, and that is big enough that you can put a couple of sea bobs in there. And in fact, you would then have charging ports as well, and they would sit neatly in there, ready to go. Really great place to keep them. The way this name is backlit, it's beautiful, isn't it? Little seat here as well, lovely place to sit while people are having fun in the water and watch what's going on. And then the other thing we have here, this is for the shore power. So these plug in over here, there's obviously two of those. But also the crew cabin access is here. So if we open this one, this will take us down into the crew area. Now again, a lot of choices here, a lot of customization. So this is what this owner has chosen. And what we'll find in here is two crew cabins, both the single beds. So there's one over here. Single bed runs down here. There's a bit of gear on there at the moment, as you can see. Big wardrobes in here, and this of course is what's really important for crew, is the actual ability to put things away. It's not always the case. Storage in behind here as well. Now you can configure this if you prefer with bunk beds, so you can have two crew in there rather than one. And then on the other side, a very similar sort of setup. So this boat's set up for two crew, but if you wanted bunks in there you could have them, and again storage here, storage about the place, and so forth. There's also a very nice little galley area in here. It's fully functional. So you've got the hob, you've got the microwave, there's a fridge in behind that one, for example, and a little breakfast bar just here. However, again, lots more choices. You can have this as another cabin with another bed in. So you could take sleeping up to 5. You could have one here, 2 in there, 2 on the other side. You could also have a cabin there if you wanted to. Move the little galley area over here, and then this cabin is gone, and you have a nice, much bigger mess area there around a table. So that gives you 3 and a really nice mess. So it just depends, as I say. You can configure that depending on how you're using the boat. Toilet is in here as well for the crew. And again, it's a nice size. It's got a proper separate shower. That's in behind this door here. Thusly. And the other thing we have in this area is laundry facilities. So there is the dryer and there is the washing machine underneath. And finally, we need to talk about engines. Check this out. Now you might expect with all that accommodation that maybe where you lose it, as is often the case, is in the engine room, but it isn't the case here. Look at this. There is masses of space, full of headroom all the way around. And this is where a pair of MAN V12 1,900 horsepower engines live. And these are giving the boat a top speed of over 30 knots. It's properly fast. But what's interesting is that you can drop the speed right back if you want to. Drop it to 10 knots if you want to go into a sort of explorer mode, if you like, and then you've got well over 1,000 miles of range. I think it's 1,300 miles of range at 10 knots. You can cruise at 20 if you prefer. That brings the range down a bit, of course. I think it's still about 500 miles though. But yeah, it just gives you all the configuration you want. If you want a fast boat, it's that. If you want the range and displacement speeds, it does that too. It does it all. It is remarkable. Let's come right through here and you can see these properly. These are the control panels for the engines. You've got some of the electrics here, so some of the battery charging systems, that kind of thing. The size of these air filters on here. More electrics racked out across there. This is interesting. If I come right around here, that fella there is a water maker. So it's not just fuel you need to worry about, it's water. And with that, it's not a case of we're running low, we need to head for shore and top up. You just make your own. Battery banks are in here, generators, there's 2 generators. I think I'm right in saying they're 27 kilowatts each. There's one on that side and there's one over here. Massive automatic fire extinguishing system just here. And look at the size of these exhausts. Just huge. And the silencers as well. I mean, they're massive. That's the other generator on this side. And this is so Princess. The fact that every single thing is labelled. You can see every pipe and every wire. You can see what it is and what it does. Perfect example here. Deck drain outlet. And this is the kind of thing where, you know, when you're doing maintenance and that kind of thing, that's important. And it's a big job. You imagine labelling every pipe and wire on a craft like this, but they do it because it's a quality boat. That's what you pay for. I mean, you know, not that specifically, but that level of attention to detail right through the whole craft. These are a conventional shaft drive. You can see the shafts running out through the back here. So gearboxes on the back of the engine, shaft that goes out through the hull, propeller on the back and rudders behind there. So again, all pretty straightforward. This is the hydraulics system. So this is powering things like the bow and stern thrusters, those anchor winches that we saw up on the bow, all that kind of stuff. It's all hydraulic, it's not electric. It's all proper, isn't it? And all this in an 80-foot boat. Just remarkable. Fantastic. Let's head back out of here. And again, we talk about a quality boat. Look at the stainless steel work. This is just a hinge on a crew cabin door, and yet it's a work of art. And all of this, everything is in stainless steel. Another one of those big hinges up here. You can see the whole thing is stainless steel framed. You know, these are an expensive boat, but there is a very good reason for it. Got light switches in here. These are air conditioning controls. Every single area has got its own separate air conditioning control. Fantastic, absolutely amazing. And there we go. Again, that attention to detail, the way they've embossed this Princess logo into here. Would it matter if they hadn't? Not really, but they have anyway. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. I'm so taken with this. Even details like this, look at these rails. Look how they are an oval section. I don't know how well we can see that. In fact, if I open this door, you'll see it perfectly, won't you? There we go. So rather than just the usual circular thing, which is very easy to make, these are a bit more difficult, but they feel so much nicer. They feel chunky, and again, it is that super yacht vibe. Brilliant. Okay, let's head back around here, back up to the Superfly upper deck, and we'll finish off back here. That's it. that is the Princess X80. That is, I think it's fair to say, the smallest proper super yacht I've ever been on. It really is a super yacht vibe, and it's in an 80-foot boat. It's remarkable. Huge thanks to Princess for organising that tour. I really appreciate it. They closed this whole boat off for me to give you guys a really good look at it. And huge thanks to you guys, of course, for watching. If you've not subscribed, do me a favour, hit that little bell, join the channel. It really helps, and it will keep you posted of new videos coming, of which there are many. And we will look forward to catching you on another one of these very soon. Take care. Bye-bye.